Hey guys, how y'all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic, and welcome back to the channel. And today, with you guys, is a pretty crazy video. Today we're going to actually be tackling the very first Disney movie ever. Actually, one of, if I'm mistaken, I think it actually might be the first animated film of all time to be in theaters. But before we get into that, of course, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I do have a new background. Hopefully I'm in the middle. Hope you can see it all. But I got the Batman, I got the Last Jedi, I got Venom, Let There Be Carnage. So I figured I had to do a little bit of a shake up. I changed some things. I still have the original posters. They're right over there in the corner. But I figured I might as well take some stuff down and try some new stuff. So anyway, I have a bit of a confession to make. I know it seems kind of insane. That franchise fanatic who calls himself a fanatic of franchises, who likes to admit that me, has seen a lot of movie franchises, and I have, and I know a lot about them. But when it comes to Disney, you guys know my family and I, we go to Disney World all the time. We try to go once a year, and it's like heaven. It is by far my favorite place to go in the entire world. I freaking love it. And every time I go, my mom or dad is like, "Hey, you remember that scene from Snow White? Or hey, remember that scene from Rapunzel or Lady in the Tramp?" I'm like, "Look, I have never seen any animated Disney film from Snow White to Rapunzel to Tangled to Princess and the Frog to freaking Hercules. I have not seen any of them. Now, I've seen a lot of essentially all the newer movies, like Zootopia, Frozen 2, I've seen a butt ton of those, but in terms of like the older films, I haven't really seen a whole lot of them. Really any of them. So today was actually my very first time watching Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, which I believe came out in 1937, which is pretty effing old. Probably one of the oldest things I've ever seen was like Batman from 1966, and that's 66, that's old, but I mean, Jesus, man, 1937, that's freaking nuts. So yeah, this is just my little review of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Now, I watched it on Disney Plus, and it was funny, because immediately when you turn it on, it didn't take up my full flat screen TV, It was like a little box, it was like watching the old SpongeBob seasons. It was like, kind of weird. And then it also opens with, before the whole live action book, it opens like, when you watch like one of those older Mickey Mouse cartoons, like the Mickey shorts, the Goofy shorts from Pluto, whatever, Donald Duck, it has like the that thing, and it's got like the little Technicolor thing. I keep doing this because it's the box, but it's there, and it was, I'm watching it, I'm like, oh wow, that's kind of cool. I didn't think they were going to do that, and I thought it was pretty, unique and cool, because again, before this film, it was mainly just those Mickey Mouse shorts, and this was, literally Walt's big break in terms of directing, in terms of animating. From what I understand, Walt Disney's favorite movie of all time that he made, had a part of, was Snow White. He was literally on record saying he would never make a better film than Snow White. Now look, I've seen a trillion films, before Snow White, so my opinion differs from Walt, but I will say that I am very, very surprised and very, glad that I saw this film, because I don't know, I know the gist. Snow White is a beautiful princess. She meets a bunch of dwarves. The queen's a bitch, and then stuff happens. And I get it. I know the story, but at the same time, I don't know. How did she get from point A to point B? And those kind of things. And again, getting the gist of it isn't the same thing as actually watching it and knowing it beat for beat. And now that I have seen it, I really freaking liked it. Again, I've seen a billion other movies that are better because they're newer and not from 1937. But at the same time, looking at it from the lens of 1937, if I could, switch my lens glares here. My lens glares, whatever they used to call them back in 1937. They even had glasses, I don't know. But if I'm switching my glasses to 1937 time, it's good. And in 2022 time, it's also good. The Seven Dwarfs are very well animated. The voice acting is not the best. It kind of sounds like potato quality microphone usage, but again, 1937, so I'm not going to dock points for that. Because I'm, sure back in the day that sounded like the best thing in the world. So the dwarves are good. The animation's great, but it is weird. I have to bring up the animation because there are certain shots that look freaking beautiful. Like the waterfalls, or like the perspective will change, or like the dwarves are walking, and you see like a river, like a big body of water, and it looks blurry because it's out of focus. They did a lot for, hand drawing. They did a lot of really unique things that really makes this film pop, and that's pretty cool. But going back to the animation, one of the weirder things about this film is that, the Seven Dwarfs are very well animated. It's technically the way animation would look from that time, and, it's got the four fingers, and it looks fine. It's what I would expect. And then you get the backgrounds and the foregrounds and the sides, the framing, the shot composite, it all looks great. But the humans The Prince, the Witch, and Snow White. They look weird. They don't look bad, but they look weird. It's almost as if they're differently... I don't know the dude's name on YouTube, but I watched like one of his videos. They're alright. But it's like he animates like Elden Ring or funny animation videos like the two NPCs are walking down a hallway and they're like, what's that? I don't know that guy's name. But he has a very stylistic filming of animation where it looks like motion capture and photorealism, but it's also like cel-shaded animation. It's kind of weird. And it looks really, really good in this film, but it also looks really, really weird. So they didn't have motion capture in 1937, right? They had reference, real women and real men and all that, and not a real witch, I hope not, from Dathomir. But they had a lot of, things to, take advantage of. Like, they got the deer, a real freaking deer. A real bunny, they know what a bunny looks like. And they know what people look like. But it's just, I don't know, maybe you can tell me in the comments, but it looks really weird. And it's not bad. When I say weird, I'm not saying bad. I'm saying it's good, but it's weird. Like, there were shots where Snow White and a dwarf are, the dwarves are talking, and the dwarves, the animation style, just the outline around them, and just the way they look, it feels different to Snow White. Snow White, like I said, it feels like they just filmed a real woman, and they just, like, animated over her. It's very strange looking. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just because it's, like, super effing old. I don't know. But it does look a bit different, and I kind of liked it. It took... the term Uncanny Valley, where it's like, oh, the Lego movie. Oh, really, Uncanny Valley, or something like that, like Sausage Party, or frickin' Happy Time Murders, stuff like that, movies, stuff that isn't a human, but it's very close to a human. It's kind of setting off the tics in your brain. I've never had that, anywhere, ever, but this is the first time where it was like 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm eating my cereal O's or whatever, munching like eating, and then all of a sudden, I literally was like, I didn't actually spit it out, but I wanted to do that. Because I'm like, wow, this looks really weird. Anyway, I'm done talking about it, but it was kind of strange. But I did enjoy it. So animation was good. Voice acting was good, again, for 1937. I think Snow White, of course, she's got a good voice. She looks good. I don't think Snow White is the hottest. I know this is kind of weird. A grown-ass man be like, let's rate the princesses. But, honestly, look, I'm a straight dude. The princesses are effing hot, all right? They deliberately make Elsa and Moana sexy. That's what they do. Because they're, I don't know. Hell, they made the bunny from Zootopia hot. Alright, I'm not a furry, but how the hell do you do that? Anyway, moving on. I do think that she's not the most beautiful princess, but, for 1937, the animation was good, her voice is good, and, I think that she's a, it's sometimes a bit cringy, this movie, because, when you think of a Disney film, you think of, happy-go-lucky girl, and she's singing, and there's animals, and this movie ticks all the boxes. I mean, it does that. But it's almost like Snow White is too happy. It's almost like she's too perfect. Like, she's just singing and cleaning, and she's cooking. You know what I mean? And back in the day, that was the stereotypical female. But now, of course, if I said that, I'd get really banned. But, of course, I don't believe that. But, you know what I'm saying? People these days, they get triggered and there's snowflakes over everything. But, Snow White flakes. But I do think that this film handles her character in a good way. But Snow White so far is literally the dictionary definition of Disney princess. Singing, animals, cooking, just loves everything. Barely anything bad happens to her. Now, speaking of things happening bad to her, I never knew this movie was that effed up and dark. I don't know, I get it. I don't think PG was a thing back in 1937. I think you just had like G and R maybe. I don't know. I wasn't born then, obviously. I don't know if you know that, but I wasn't born in 1937. I mean, crazy, right? But this film is like surprisingly dark. People go, oh, kids' movies can be dark. Look, first of all, before I talk into that, this is not a kid's film. This is an animated film. Big difference. But, I mean, there are moments where, like, the queen is like, all right, I want you to kill Snow White. They say the word kill so much. Kill Snow White. Kill Snow White. They're going to kill her. We're going to kill us. We got to kill it. They say kill so many times in this movie. And, it's probably not the best thing for a little kid to be hearing the word kill a bunch of times, but whatever. I didn't go into psychology class, but I know humans. I did go into psychology class, but not very long, but I did in college. I'm still in college, but anyway. There are moments where it's like, wow, this is pretty dark, and then the queen's like, all right, I want this huntsman dude go into the forest and freaking kill her, like stab her with a knife, and then cut her heart out like Butch Cavendish, stick it in this chest, and this is your proof that you killed her. What the hell? You know what I mean? What is going on here? This is a G-rated movie. I did not know this movie was that jacked up. So the huntsman literally takes a knife out. He's about to stab her, and of course he can't do it. And she freaks out and runs in the forest. There's a bit of like a horror, almost before Sam Raimi scene, like Evil Dead scene, where she's like turning around and there's crazy trees going after her, and she just kind of freaks out and just starts like crying on the floor. I mean, there's some dark stuff in this. You know, there's like a dungeon where the queen is. There's like a skeleton. Like you see the bones, and she's just like mocking it and kicking it around. I mean, I was literally sitting there like, Jesus, this movie's dark. You know what I mean? Like some scenes are like almost too sugary, where she's just singing away, and there's birds singing with her. And it's like, you know, kumbaya. It's like we're in heaven, and then it goes straight to hell. Like the next scene, like she's just like making fun of people. She's butchering bodies. She's the queen. She turns into like a disgusting old grandma witch thing with a wart on her nose. Poisoned apple. The freaking Snow White dies, or perma-sleep or whatever, perma-death. So it's kind of mixed in terms of its tone, because again, some scenes are very dark for a G-rated film in 1937, and some scenes are almost too, like, I didn't cringe, but some scenes, you know, were a bit like, oh man, it's almost too perfect. And thankfully there were those darker scenes to make Snow White not a boring, bland character, because, you know, if everything was going right, then what's the point of a plot? You know what I mean? What's the point of a climax, or what's the point of a, you know, an arc, so to speak, of, you know, a film, if everything goes right? So I do think that was pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, I really did enjoy it. As far as negatives, you know, again, I have to be a little careful because it's from 1937. There are a few scenes where I noticed a few of the things clipping, or, you know, some shots would end kind of abruptly, and they kind of go like, kind of thing. You know, they did a pretty good job. Like if the Seven Dwarfs were singing their Hi-Ho song and they hit each other, they stopped the song. So, you know, there's good editing in this film. But again, 1937, this was really Walt's big film. This film had to succeed, and if it didn't, he was going to get effed up real bad. Thankfully, it did succeed. One of the most successful films of all time. But it was kind of interesting to see. Oh, there's one or two, you know, instances here. But honestly, those little nitpicks I just said really aren't that bad. I did really enjoy the animation. I think the prince was kind of boring and weird looking. Like the animation was kind of rigid. Him just singing and just kind of showing up in the end. They do this kind of cop-out thing where like there's words on the screen. It's like, why are you telling me what the hell's going on? It's part of the movie, you know what I mean? Why? It's like they stop the film and they get, okay, we gotta read. It's like Star Wars, you know, we gotta read now. It's gonna go happening. So I did feel that was a bit lazy. Maybe of course it does work. It is effective. Because, you know, I'm thinking, like, wait a minute, how does the prince know where Snow White is? How does he know to kiss her? He's essentially kissing a corpse. That's weird as heck. But it turns out in the writing it sounds like the prince, whatever the heck his name is, Prince Franchise Fanatic, sees, you know, he essentially time has passed between her dying and her awakening in the you know, tomb coffin thing. So he kind of gets that idea where, you know, he hears it. It's like Luke in The Last Jedi. You know, all the slave kids on Cantonica, they hear the story over time. It's kind of like that. So it's justified. It's just the word thing was kind of weird. Other than that, though, I think the animation was good. The voice acting was good. The story, it's very simple. There's a lot of time devoted to, you know, when Snow White's cleaning the house. There's just like shot after shot after shot after shot of like animals just effing cleaning and getting into mischief. And that's like classic Chip and Dale stuff. So again, you know, it was really Walt strutting his skills. Like, you know, we're going to make a damn good film. It's going to be an hour and a half long. Darn it, it's going to be good. And it was good. And I'm going to give Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs an A. Again, from 1937, I'd give it an A+ if I was in that time. But now, you know, again, I know it's from 1937. Trust me. I'm keeping that into accord. So giving it an A just because there's one or two moments where I noticed some clipping or some things like that. Again, it was his first film. So I'm not going to be too harsh, but I mean, what a good film. I mean, really, you know, I wouldn't buy this on Blu-ray. I watched it on Disney Plus, like I said, but it was fun. So my last part of this video is kind of short-ish, I hope, but this film really pioneered not only Disney, but also animation in general. Like, this film is why we have Toy Story from Pixar. This is why we have the Lego Movie. This is why we have Frozen, for all you Frozen freaks. You know, this is why we have Cars and everything. You know, Shrek. Every major animated film is largely thanks to this film, Snow White and Seven Dwarfs. Now, back in the day when animation was just getting its own start, you know, standing on their own 2 feet, realistically, the theater, back when theaters were first invented in America and all that, they were first like a real thing, it was really a thing for rich adults. You know, it wasn't like something, oh, we'll bring our kiddies, we'll bring our toddlers, grab by the hand. We'll take our toddler to the movie. You know, it wasn't like that. It was more of like an indulgence. It was like, I don't know, Club 33 in Disney. You know, I mean, or the freaking thing where the cast member walks around with you for an hour for like $17,000. It's like that. But back in the day, theaters were a big deal. And animation was really a treat for adults. Animation was never, in the beginning, specifically made for children. And this film, Walt Disney even says it himself, he does not make content for children. He makes content for everyone. Children, teenagers, adults. And this is the first animated film that really showed that you can have comedy and dark elements and mourning and sadness and loss and happiness and all these different emotions in an animated film. And again, this movie was not targeted towards children. Yes, children can watch it, but it's not made for children. I think that's what's really important, is that everyone goes, oh, for a kids movie, kids movie. There is no kids movie. Unless you're talking PBS Kids, where it's literally educational, where they go, what's 2 + 2? Correct! You know, that type of crap. That is for kids. You know, Barney, Teletubbies, Arthur, that stuff is for children. Snow White is for everyone, no matter your age. And I think a lot of people tend to forget that again, animation back in the day was literally meant for adults. There were there were barely any children in the theater because, again, theaters were mainly for rich adults, and this was like this is cool, you know, I mean, it was really funny. Like, back in the day, you know, if you said animation was for children, you'd get bumped on the head. It's like, no, this is for adults, you know what I mean? And even like Jim Henson with the Muppets, you know, Jim Henson was interviewed before he died, and he literally said that he intended the Muppets to be, you know, geared toward adults. And he said, you know, yes, the Muppets are for adults, but the Muppets doesn't have adult content. So, you know, Kermit's not smoking the bong, Miss Piggy's not naked, Gonzo's not cursing, but you didn't need that, you know what I mean? Because just because something's for adults doesn't mean it has to be X-rated, you know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of people kind of forgot that animation is for everyone. And of course, you know, you get stuff, like I said, Arthur is for children, SpongeBob, Regular Show, Ninjago, Phineas and Ferb, Gravity Falls, this film, 99% of animation is geared towards everyone. And then you get the more, you know, the 1 or 2% of adult content like Harley Quinn or Family Guy or The Simpsons. That's more for older, you know, adults. So seeing that, you know, this kind of pull off, I think, was really in the 90s or whatever, when, you know, animation was like, oh, the TMNT show, the Transformers show, and they'd have commercials, you know, with like the characters, I guess, you know, with buy the toys and buy this and buy that, you know, kids bought the toys, and therefore adults were like, oh, well, if the kids are buying the toys, I guess it's for kids, huh? And I guess people just forgot that. But yeah, fun fact, animation is for all age groups. And I hate the term kids movie. I hate the term kid show because, god darn it, they're not kids movies and they're not kid shows. They are just animated movies and animated shows. And I think that's a stigma that is slowly but surely leaving, you know? I mean, I'm not saying walk in the streets and say, I like animated movies! You know, I mean, don't do that, because you're probably going to get beat up. But I do think that this is, you know, we're past that point of, you know, everyone in high school goes, I kind of like the new Incredibles movie. And they go, you're freaking dumb! You know what I mean? It's just, I mean, that's just high school kids being retards. I mean, everyone's lived with that. But I do think that, again, this film really pioneered the animation genre in a lot of ways, especially the fact that, yeah, this was not targeted toward babies. You know, animation, I'll leave you with this, animation is not something to keep your toddler happy. It's just another form of art, and it's just another form of entertainment, no matter your age group. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs review. Again, I'm going to give the film an A. For being 1937, I really freaking loved it, and, you know, again, I knew it was going to happen, but seeing, again, those point A to point B scenarios was really cool, and hopefully I didn't ramble too much, but I had a lot of points I wanted to talk about. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm not sure if I'm going to review every Disney film, but I do want to review a lot of them. I'm going to be watching essentially all of them. Don't worry, I still have Lord of the Rings Return of the King. I'm watching that. I'm going to be reviewing the Happy Time Murders. So don't worry, I got a lot of stuff coming up, but I cannot wait to review more Disney films. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.